What's going on, you guys, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing a full recap of my performance at the HYROX North America Championship in Chicago, Illinois. So in today's video, we're going to break this up into 3 different sections. We're going to talk about what went well, opportunities for growth, and what we're going to be doing next. So without further ado, let's jump right in. To kick things off, let's talk about what went well. First and foremost, my running. I ran faster in every round and across the board, cutting 2.5 minutes off of my time from Dallas and over 8.5 minutes for my first HYROX in Chicago 2022. Super stoked that all of the volume and mileage that I've put in is paying off here. For event number 1, which is a 1,000-meter ski erg, I was able to cut 41 seconds off of my Dallas time. One of the things that went really well here was the ability to control a specific pace. For me, that was a 2:05 pace, so 2 minutes and 5 seconds to hit 500 meters. For me, that was a hard but not my hardest type of pace. For event number 3, which was the sled push, this was an area where I saw a great performance gain. To be completely transparent, I was really worried about this one specific event given my size, but after consistently working on sled pushes for the past 8 weeks, I was able to cut 48 seconds from my Dallas time and 2 minutes and 8 seconds from my original Chicago time. This was a big focus area in my last training block, and it showed. One of the things that I did differently in this competition versus the past was I stuck to a specific format of taking 10 steps forward and then taking a break for 10 seconds. This allowed me to be consistent throughout the event and ultimately cutting a good amount of time for my first time doing this. Event number 4, which is the sled pull, I was able to cut 11 seconds off of my Dallas time, but I feel like I was a little bit too conservative here. I used a good amount of strength, but I didn't incorporate any power. What do I mean by that? I was able to pull the sled backwards, but I wasn't incorporating a tug to get that extra length on every single pull. Skipping the burpee broad jumps and jumping into the 1,000-meter row, I was able to shave 5 seconds off of my Dallas time, but this is really where things started to fall apart for me. While I did go faster, I do think this is an area where I can improve on. Now, pivoting over to the things that I can work on, I'm going to start off with the burpee broad jumps. One of the good things here was that I was consistent through moving through the event, but I wasn't doing long enough jumps. I wasn't incorporating enough power in my jumps to get a good amount of distance. Therefore, this made me jump more versus having quality jumps throughout the event and going almost 1 minute slower than my Dallas time. Another event where I feel like I can do some improvement is around the farmer's carry. A positive thing about this was that I was able to go 125 meters before I had to put them down for a couple seconds. I feel like if I could go back and do things differently, I would work more on my grip strength throughout my programming and then walk faster through the event. Because of having to put the kettlebells down, I was roughly 8 seconds slower than my Dallas time. The third event where I feel like I can make some improvements is around the sandbag walking lunges. Now, to start off with something positive here, I was consistent throughout the entire event and did not stop throughout the whole time. The 2 things that I would do differently is not meet my feet together and just taking the steps all the way through. So instead of coming up, bringing my feet together, then taking the step, I would take that foot up and just step right into the next lunge right there. Because of this different approach, I was roughly 33 seconds slower than my Dallas time. Pivoting over to wall balls, which this is an event that everybody worries about, myself included. This is one that I've actually gotten slower over the course of 3 HYROXs. One of the things I would do differently going into the next HYROX is staying consistent with doing wall balls multiple times throughout the week, building efficiency in the exercise so I don't worry about it leading up to the end of an event. And finally, for the last spot where I think I can make some improvements is around time in the ruck zone. So this is the time where you spend between the track and an actual event, that middle space right there where the water's at. I spent 2 minutes more here than I did in Dallas, and that added up over time. So overall, I was 1 hour and 18 minutes and 39 seconds for my Chicago 23 time, which was roughly 10 seconds slower than my Dallas 2022. So as I look back, I'm really happy with the way that my fitness has come together. I'm running faster, I've built a stronger engine, I've gotten stronger with the sled pushes and pull, and if I start to look at all of my best times from Chicago 22, Dallas 22, and Chicago 23, I'm estimated to have a best HYROX at 109. It's for that reason why I'm going to try one more here coming up in March. Not sure if it's going to be in Houston, Dallas, or Miami, but I think after the Chicago experience, I think I can put some things together to really tighten up that time. Some of the things I want to do from now until the next event is drop some body fat and just become more efficient within my nutrition. Another area is being consistent with my water intake. In this past week leading up to the North America Championship, I went from Colorado to Philadelphia for work, back to Colorado, out to Chicago for the event, and I started to notice that my water intake was not as consistent as it normally was when I'm at home. I also want to create a more structured taper. I felt walking into this HYROX that I was a little stiff, and I want to be able to stay loose and agile without putting too much strain on the body. I also noticed that in the 2 weeks that I was tapering, I was getting a little bit lazy in my mobility and stretching for the day. And then the final thing that I'm working on here is around sodium intake. One of the things that worry me is around cramping and making sure that I'm getting enough sodium. I'm testing out a couple protocols around how much sodium I should take in before and how much sodium I should take throughout the race. I'd be interested interested to hear anyone's feedback around sodium intakes before and during races. Always open to some new ideas. But if I zoom out and think about the last 3 HYROXs, there's 5 areas where I saw some incredible performance gains. In my run time, I went from 45 minutes and 32 seconds to 36 minutes and 56 seconds, giving me 123% performance gain. In my first 1,000-meter run, I went from 4 minutes and 51 seconds to 4 minutes and 15 seconds, giving me 124% performance gain. In the sled pull, which is one of the areas I've been always worried about given my size, I went from 6 minutes and 38 seconds to 5 minutes and 5 seconds, giving me 130% performance gain. And on sled push, another one that I was extremely worried about, I went from 6 minutes and 6 seconds to 3 minutes and 58 seconds, giving me 154% performance gain. And then finally with the ruck zone, I went from 12 minutes and 2 seconds to 6 minutes and 5 seconds, giving me 197% performance gain. For me, this is really important to understand because I do have aspirations of hitting the podium, and it's easy for me to forget the progression that I've made as an athlete, given this has only been my 3rd year as a competitive athlete. I think it's really easy to fall in the trap of seeing people hit 1 hour 105 while ignoring the performance you do as an individual athlete. But as I see the competition growing and only getting better, I see this as a motivator to keep wanting to get back to programming and get back to work. So there you have it. There's the recap of the HYROX North America Championship. This is the final video of the full series that I've showed over the last couple weeks. If you found value in this video or any of the previous videos within the series, please leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. It truly helps me a ton here on YouTube. And if you have any questions or concerns around some of the things that I've done or what I'm going to be working on here for the next HYROX, be sure to put them in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.